Hey ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, I just came back from watching Captain America Civil War. And god damn it, I can't believe it. I just, everything, it was amazing! Let me first start out by saying that Captain America Civil War is the superhero film that we've been waiting for. Scratch that. Captain America Civil War is the superhero film that we didn't expect. No, there are no words for how amazing this movie is. Absolutely none. This is what Age of Ultron should have been and wasn't. This is what Batman v Superman should have been and wasn't. This is the Marvel film that puts all other Marvel films to shame. Because it goes Captain America Civil War, Guardians of the Galaxy, The Avengers, Iron Man. In fact, Iron Man, The Avengers. Or Iron Man and The Avengers. Tie for number 3. But still, here is what works in this film. Everything! Here's what doesn't work in this film. Almost nothing. Almost. But, I mean, so fucking, this small little details. Some of the action scenes and the camera shake is just a little too much sometimes, but it's forgiven because of the content of the rest of the film. And trust me, it is very small. That minuscule, little camera shake I'm talking about is so fucking small compared to just the grand scheme of things. But enough of this dick sucking. Let's get right into it. Spoiler time! Captain America Civil War begins 1 year after the events of Age of Ultron. The Avengers, led by Captain America, followed by Falcon, Black Widow, and Scarlet Witch, they are trying to stop a biological weapon from being unleashed upon the world. But as with all superhero saving tactics, things kind of go wrong and destruction happens. And they have to now answer for this destruction. Very much like the comic book, they have to deal with the casualties of what they're doing. And Tony Stark is affected by this, by a woman who confronts him and telling him that what she thinks that they're doing is wrong. And it costs more lives than they're probably trying to save. So Tony Stark, trying to be a good guy about this, listens to the concerns of not just the woman, but the United Nations. And they want superhero registration. They want these people to register with the government, and they will become byproducts of that government system. Not just of the American government system, but the world. And so Captain America's like, no, I'm not doing this shit. And then Tony's like, you have to fucking do this shit. And Captain America's like, yeah. In the background of all this is a plot to frame Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier. It becomes kind of a mystery. Well, who is this person trying to frame the Winter Soldier? And what do they want with him? Well, that is answered with the newest villain to the Marvel Universe, Baron Zemo. And what Zemo is trying to do is get information from the Winter Soldier about certain events that took place back in 1991. And he knows something about the Winter Soldier that the rest of us don't know, and so we're gonna have to find that out. In the meantime, the frame-up job is spot on. The UN is attacked, and Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, who has gone recluse, is the #1 suspect. So everybody's trying to find him, and especially Black Panther, because in that UN explosion, his father was killed. Captain America, knowing that Bucky Barnes did not do anything, attempts to help his friend because he's his friend. Because he knows this can't happen. So Captain America goes rogue and attempts to help his friend. And he refuses to sign the Registration Act. He's like, you have to fucking sign this shit. And he's like, no, I'm not gonna sign this shit. We shall fight. So Tony enlists the help of the people that have sided with him, and Captain America has enlisted the help of the people who have sided with him. And they have two superhero factions now against each other, all because of the frame-up job, not just by Bucky Barnes, but because of their failure to comply with the Registration Act. Here you're trying to stop this person that's supposedly a terrorist. Here you're trying to help this person that might be a terrorist, but you know he's not. So that creates a whole world of conflict. They have this spectacular fucking fight scene right in the middle of the movie, and it's just, it continues on from there. That's just not the end of it. And it turns out that Baron Zemo's trying to frame the Winter Soldier because the Winter Soldier back in 1991 killed Tony's parents. And when they find that out, shit hits the wall, and Tony just goes into this madness and begins fighting both Bucky and Captain America, and it becomes this really emotionally driven action sequence towards the end of the film that really cements how deep and great the characters have become and the gravity of the situation. So let me talk about how wonderful this film ends up being, because this film is the best Marvel film that has come out. Finally, we have a film that's up there with The Dark Knight and The Avengers. And don't get me wrong, this is as much of an Avengers film as it is just a Captain America film. In fact, it's more of an Avengers film. Like I said in the beginning of this video, this is what Age of Ultron should have been and wasn't, because the studio lost their fucking mind for a film. Thankfully, we have this film to kind of redeem whatever happened in that. And I liked Age of Ultron to an extent, and I mean, it had its character problems. I know Joss Whedon was battling with the studio at the time, and he didn't like it, and it ruined him with Marvel so much that he decided to step away and let the Russo brothers take a hold of the canon from here. And I can't thank him enough for doing that, because the Russo brothers really have their shit together. They know like how to structure this amazing story, make it feel like a 4-hour film that's only in about 2.5. Character development is spot on. We are introduced to new characters like Black Panther and Spider-Man, and we are given time with these new characters to do that. We get to know them a little bit before we see them in costume. We're given that time to listen to their dialogue, how they interact with the other characters, enough to where we kind of care about these characters now. And especially Black Panther. His father dies within 5 minutes of meeting him, and his entire story arc is trying to get revenge on the person that is responsible for his father's death. Ultimately deciding that revenge isn't everything, because when he confronts Baron Zemo at the end, and Baron Zemo, mind you, the reason he wants to pit, he frames up and decides to reveal that Bucky Barnes kills Tony Stark's parents is because he's trying to pit the Avengers against each other. The most powerful superheroes in the world. He's trying to make conflict with, because he himself cannot defeat these people, but they can defeat each other. And the ultimate reason he does this is because of revenge. His family was killed in Age of Ultron. You know, when the whole like big city was started flowing up, that's what happened. His family, unfortunately, were some of the casualties of war, and he let vengeance get the better of him. And Black Panther sees the error in his ways, and he's like, vengeance is not going to get the better of me. And oh my god, like, that is so deep for a character we just got introduced to 90 minutes ago. Like, that is the strength of this movie. It is a great story, and it overlaps, and we see us, there are things that reside in the film itself that we are shown at the beginning of the film that make complete sense by the end of the film. For Tony, in order to combat the rogue superheroes, such as Captain America and the Falcon, he enlists the help of Peter Parker. How he knows Peter Parker is Spider-Man, we were never really given a chance to explore that, but he's Iron Man. He just kind of knows things. He puts the fucking pieces together, apparently. And so we're introduced to Spider-Man, and Spider-Man has to kind of help Tony in this, like, mission that, like, in his fucking quest to try and stop, like, these rogue people from helping this suspected terrorist. You're as much seeing the side of Tony Stark than you are Captain America. You see both sides. They're presented equally. Tony Stark, unfortunately, lets his ego get to him. He becomes a pseudo-villain for this movie. You understand that his parents died at the hands of the Winter Soldier, and he wants vengeance on this. You understand that his parents died because of this horrible car accident at the beginning of the film, because they show you a side of Tony that we didn't actually really get to experience before. These characters have levels and they cut deep. I cannot think of another film except for maybe The Dark Knight where we had such a structured story and structured characters that we just feel for their journey, where we feel every little thing that they have to go through too. It's fantastic. It is a great film, and it's not without its comedy. The first time we see Spider-Man, we also see Aunt May, played by Marissa Tomei, and when it was announced that Marissa Tomei was going to play Aunt May, the internet was like, no, she's too young, she cannot play Aunt May, she's not old enough. And so Tony Stark, the first thing he says to Aunt May is like, you have a very attractive aunt here, it's kind of funny the way that he has to explain, she's a very attractive, young-looking aunt, for God's sakes. So they kind of heard the internet response and outcry towards the Aunt May situation and made light of it. And then that was a really, really funny part. Spider-Man, by the way, this is a great Spider-Man. This is he's honestly really excellent. His voice is a little young. He's very, very young. He's like 15 or 16. But he still nails it to the point where I'm like, wow, this guy's Spider-Man. I'm seeing Spider-Man. I'm not seeing anybody else. He's fucking Spider-Man. What else can I say about this film? It was just, everything was just so pitch perfect, spot on. It was the film that I didn't expect, honestly. I kind of went into this film like I was excited to see it, but I wasn't really super hyped up to see it. And I came out just, this puts my faith back into superhero movies again. And trust me, Man of Steel took a lot of my excitement away from watching not just superhero movies, but movies in general. It's hard for me to get excited about movies, to be honest with you, since seeing Man of Steel, because I was so hyped up for that film and it was such a letdown that I kind of shut myself off, and I was just like, well, I can't expect too much anymore, and this film just blew me out of the water. I don't even know how to process this right now. I'm rambling, for God's sakes. That's how, this film has affected me. Not only was the story fucking amazing and the characters developed just fantastically, but we got really great cinematography, we got great action, we got pretty solid music, everything was just fucking spot on with this film. It makes Zack Snyder and David S. Goyer look like fucking hacks trying to just catch up with Marvel with their lack of character development, with their lack of storytelling. I'm sorry, I enjoyed Batman v Superman as just mindless action film, but to this extent, Marvel's Captain America Civil War has raised the bar so much that it just makes that film and all of its flaws just stand out that much fucking more. It makes the flaws of almost all these other fucking movies stand out a lot fucking more. It's kind of like eating a fucking 5-star meal after eating McDonald's for years. You're like, this is okay, this is McDonald's. This is okay, this is Burger King. This is okay, this is Wendy's. And then you go and have like a fucking 5-star burger made by like Chef Gordon Ramsay or something like that, and you're like, everything I've ever known has been a lie. And that is exactly what Captain America Civil War is like. It's like having that nice chill Chianti after having a fucking Pabst Blue Ribbon. The movie is deep. There's comedy in it. There's amazing action sequences. I applauded at least 5 to 7 times throughout this movie during all the action sequences. Ant-Man is a great addition to this film. Like, he adds some substantial fucking action to this film. Like, he becomes not just small, but he gets real fucking giant, like we see in the comics. We get to see more of Scarlet Witch in this film, and I think we should have seen more of Scarlet Witch because she's really fucking powerful. She took down the Vision, for God's sakes, and we just didn't. I mean, I would have liked to have seen more of that, but I understand also that this is an interpersonal story with Captain America and Iron Man, and that needs to be told and not be overshadowed by somebody that's fucking just power. Paraphrase The Dark Knight, because that's probably the closest film that is going to be compared to at this point. It is not the film that we needed, but it's probably the fucking film that we deserved. You guys, this is it, man. Like, if I could give you 5 more thumbs, I fucking would, man. Like, it's just the character, like, I want to delve into, like, how the story arc happens, you know? We have multiple stories. We have Black Panther and his revenge. We have Captain America trying to save his best friend. We have Tony Stark trying to capture the Winter Soldier and having to battle through his best friend to do so. He doesn't want to fight Captain America. He wants him to join his side, and Captain America doesn't want to join his side because he's trying to do what's right by his friend. And he's kind of a little selfish in that respect, but you understand it because he doesn't want to become a part of the system. And Iron Man is like, well, you have to because of safety, and Captain America's like, well, fuck, dude, we are safe. And so there's that layer. We got so many layers. It is such a rich, layered movie that I can't even process it all right now. It's like Greek mythology, for God's sakes. There's a surface story, but you got all these other fucking stories underneath it that make it just so much better. If you just like action, if you like an action movie, this is a movie for you. If you like comic books, this is the movie for you. If you don't like any of this, you could still see this movie and get something out of it because it's a story about friendship, it's a story about revenge, it's a story about doing the right thing when maybe the right thing is not always presented. It's a story about kicking back against the government when the government's trying to impede on your liberties. It's a film about trying to do the right thing amidst safety and concerns of the world. Anyways, guys, if you've seen the movie, let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. If you haven't seen the movie but you wanted like a second opinion, a reason to see this movie, I hope I gave it to you, man. Go fucking see this movie. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you're like kind of new to what I'm doing here, subscribe if you like what you see. I'm Geektoid, and until next time, live long and geek on.